My name is Jimmy Song, and today is December 1st, 2017. Great to be here. New month. Tone, you want to say hi?
Hey everyone, hope we are finally good on sound and everything good to go. It's been a good 24 hours here in Colombia.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're in your hotel room, I see. That's always
Yes.
nice. Although I gotta say that lobby is a lot better, sort of from a background perspective. Uh,
Maybe tomorrow morning, we'll see.
Okay, all right. So here's our first story of the day. Bitcoin price is being manipulated by Tether. This is on Squawker, and the criticism always has been, hey, it's only one guy that's doing all the criticizing. It's just Bitfinex. It's starting to go beyond Bitfinex, right? It's a few more people, and they're doing their own research. Here's like a video of some of the wash trading on Kraken that Bitfinex talked about. That a lot of the people that are against Bitfinex are like, you're showing no evidence. I think this is pretty obvious evidence. I don't know. Look at the volumes, right? Like it's like 5 in one direction, 16 in the other direction. It does seem like they're trying to, or at least somebody's doing something that's akin to wash trading. Um, yeah, there's the fact that the market cap is now 717 million, and a lot of similar things. But yeah, the this is sort of the argument is, the price of Bitcoin has been pumped by Tether. Your thoughts, Tone, on what this on this article and
I
whether.
mean, it's one and the same, right? I
Mhm,
mean, we just have to wait and see how this all ends. I don't like the fact that there's so much money sitting in Tether
mhm,
because it's a centralized pot of money.
mm,
I don't like centralized pots of money. And yeah, also, apparently Bitfinex came out with another big public statement on their upcoming audit, and then Bitfinex and some others are ripping it apart, saying, no, they're lying within the statement.
mm.
Things in there don't make sense. We'll see. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there seems to be a lot of smoke now.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I'm still confused why people are defending Bitfinex so strongly, like it's their mother. I'm still kind of like I like there's a lot of layers to this story that I don't think we have any insight into yet.
No, and we don't really have time to dig into them, which is great that other people are starting to look into it
Hmm.
and are helping Bitfinex out.
Hmm.
And it's so funny. They're like, well, how come you don't say anything else about other exchanges? Well, as far as I know, Bitstamp has a real audit
Hmm.
every year that they publish.
Hmm.
And the other thing I try to explain to people is that a company like Coinbase or Gemini or Bitstamp, they don't like spread what they're doing across half of the ecosystem.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, there you go. All right. I know our viewers are always sort of looking out for, what sort of hard forks they may be looking forward to. I have three for you today. They're all happening before the end of 2017. This one is Bitcoin Platinum. So it's in about 1,500 blocks, which is less than 2 weeks. So yeah, this is one of them. Who knows whether or not they're gonna have a legitimate hard fork or they're gonna pre-mine or whatever, but we'll see. Super Bitcoin, this one's another one. I think this one's launching on exactly December
Wait,
17th.
who's the team? Who's the team?
Let's see. Roger Shi, Zi Zhaolai,
Perfect.
Xipeng
We know
Lin.
all of those people real well.
And then finally, this one's even sketchier is let me see if I can get to this one. Yeah, there it is. Bitcoin Uranium. Yeah, and they don't even have a website yet, but they're claiming that they'll launch on December 31st. Apparently it's yeah, a one
Right.
minute block
Because people
hinter.
have a lot of free time that day.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so many hard forks. I mean, I knew there were going to be a lot next year. I didn't think there would be so many coming up this year. Your thoughts on these hard forks and whether they'll be worth anything?
You know what? I have moved my because I was going away. I have
Uh-huh.
moved my Bitcoin back. I still have not pulled out the Bitcoin Gold.
Mm.
I haven't pulled that out yet, but I have control of those private keys.
Mhm.
I have already moved my coins back into hardware storage.
Mhm.
You know, your ledgers, your Trezors,
Mhm.
Bitcoin Beatbox. So now my coins are back in hardware. So I'm gonna leave it up to the hardware guys
Mm.
to
To help you.
determine
Okay.
if these are important enough for them to split.
Mm.
And then I will wait for a bunch of people to successfully split, and then maybe I'll do it if they're worth. I mean, I need a minimum of 5%, or it's not worth it for me.
Yeah. W-
Like, I don't like doxing all of my Bitcoin, and I don't even have that much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like one of the things. Like, I've had these private discussions with people. They're like, "Well, in order for me to split it, I have to move like a lot of Bitcoin, and it's a privacy concern." I'm like, I agree. How much do you like? How badly do you need the free money? Is it worth it for someone else to potentially get in the middle, or for the government to or Chainalysis to catch you how much Bitcoin you have and report it to your government? Is it worth it?
Yeah, and that's really the question. There's this trade-off between privacy and money that people
Right
have to
now,
think about.
when it's 10 to 20%, when it came to B Gold,
Mhm.
B no sorry B Cash, when it's 10 to 20%, it's probably worth it.
Mhm.
It's probably worth taking a chance that the government will catch you with how many bitcoins you have, because if you can make 20%, then if they catch you, you still come out on top paying the taxes.
Mhm.
But if it's like 3%,
Mm.
is it worth it to get caught in the net of identification? And probably not for me anyway.
Mm. Yeah, I do. I really want. I'll put this idea out there. I want an exchange to make a wallet for me where if I like a personal wallet, so I still control the private keys, but I want a button that says sell all my Bitcoin Gold and go sell it at the exchange and bring it back to my wallet. I just want a button that does that. And that's it. And for every hard fork after that, I just want a button that says sell, such and such amount at the exchange and just bring it
That's a
back.
little tricky, Jimmy, because either they have to use shapeshift, which is not ideal,
Hmm.
or the wallet provider has to have accounts with these
Right,
exchanges.
right. That's
But
it.
then
This is
if
why I
they
want the exchange to publish the wallet. So the exchange,
ah,
so it just uses the API to the exchange, transfer the Bitcoin X, and then converts that to
I don't know about
Bitcoin and then brings
that,
it back.
because
I
exchanges.
think there would be a market because people want to get rid of this stuff.
Yeah, but like, exchanges aren't exactly experts are giving you control of the private keys, right? Their business model is kind of based on the opposite of that. Um,
Well, I mean, if there was a good guy Bitcoin exchange, I think that could happen. All right, next story we have the three economic eras of Bitcoin by Rusty Russell, and this is sort of where he goes through more or less about fees and how that will affect Bitcoin. So how it was more or less free transactions from 2009 to 2014. And then the second era is Satoshi subsidy. This is where you actually have fees on the blockchain. And then the most interesting part is the third era, self-sufficiency, 2028 and onwards. And this is where he goes and talks about another civil war where businesses will want to inflate Bitcoin, and and that's going to be a hard fork battle of the ages starting in around 2028, largely because that's when fees will be greater than the mining award on a consistent basis. We did have one such block a few weeks ago, but he thinks pretty much every block or after 2028, which is you know uh, two or three
but that was
halvings.
the plan. That was Satoshi's plan, to have fees greater than the block reward.
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
And his argument is this going to, the miners and businesses with large transaction volume will both decide to reintroduce inflation. For the large volume businesses, this will externalize their costs, and for miners, it's simply free money. The battle lines will be similar to the end to the early Second Era New York Agreement, but this effort will be more nuanced and far broader with mainstream arguments such as the founder was not an economist and the support burden of the network should be shared by the wealthy Bitcoin holders. And the counter arguments about 21 million Bitcoin limit, I can't
I
see.
agree.
Yeah, yeah. So this is going
I
to be
agree. I mean,
interesting.
yeah, I've been talking about that for a long time.
Mm,
Like, I just want to briefly comment on his first one
mm,
about the Fiesta error
mm,
with no fees.
mm,
Uh, that was also bad because like it created a lot of bad businesses
mm.
that expected free transactions forever,
Yeah.
and now we have the whole Roger Ver problem because of it, because of that Fiesta era.
Hmm.
And some of the early Bitcoin adopters seem to be expecting this forever and ever and ever now because they built their businesses around the Fiesta era, expecting it to continue forever.
Yeah, I love Ben Davenport's quote, like, Bitcoin owes no man their business model. And they did have a business model around the free fee thing, and now, obviously they're sort of like, hey, why can't we get a subsidy from Bitcoin and continue these very cheap transactions? Anyway.
Right. And also on that one, if you should watch the entire thing with Roger Ver and Bitcoin Errorlog, where Bitcoin Errorlog tried to explain to Roger how what's his name's Eric Voorhees' Satoshi Dice was terrible for Bitcoin. It just spammed the hell out of it.
Oh,
Uh,
I forgot about that. Yeah, we have a story
right.
coming up on that. Yeah.
Oh, and as far, I'm not going to get into the whole economic thing, but like we've had these debates on our shows before,
Hmm.
where I said I am expecting a battle for the ages in the future, and the inflationists will probably win. The inflationists always win.
Well, not
Um,
in this case, because the holders can fight back.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. We'll
we'll
see what
see.
happens in like 2030, right?
Yeah, yeah, but
Uh,
that will be a very interesting time if it gets to it. So.
like at the least, I will go for the middle.
Hmm.
Like at least estimate how much Bitcoin has been lost forever and
Hmm.
slowly bring that back into circulation. So there will be above 21 million total created, but hopefully not more than 21 million in circulation till maybe 2050. But we can probably bring back like 5 million coins and not affect the 21 million in circulation that hasn't been lost forever
Well,
supply.
I
So
disagree.
I'd be okay with
I
it.
would never allow for any inflation beyond what the code already says.
We'll
And I
see.
think
Well, the
that would
battle's
definitely
coming.
result in a hard fork.
Battle's coming.
Yeah, it certainly
It's
is.
coming. It'll be minimum 10 years away, but it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I think it might actually come sooner. Well, we'll see. All right. So, No Para 73, very good writer here. Bitcoin Big Bang Think Through. They obviously had this episode last night. It looks like Tone is gone. What happened
No,
here?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No Para. Goes through all of it. I don't know what happened to your screen. Well, I guess you can. There it is. Yeah, yeah. There
I
you
dropped the
are.
video from it. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So the muting actually causes your little video to go away. Anyway, yeah. So apparent. First of all, there's actually an Easter egg in this very article. Even this article has $70 hidden in it. Let the race begin. The address is here, and the Japanese words have something to do with it. Anyway, examines the premise of the show. First of all, they said a single Bitcoin is worth 5,000. And that was the case when the writers wrote the show, which was apparently like September 2017. And then they go through, well, Leonard apparently mined a few Bitcoins, and that's kind of the premise of the show. And apparently, in the script of the show, they wrote a computer program to do the hashing. Um, and he goes through how likely each of the things were. But here's a summary. Apparently they mined Bitcoin, quote unquote, in 2010. They were mining on Leonard's laptop. Not really. That doesn't really make sense. They wrote software to mine Bitcoins. It makes sense, but I don't know. It seems a little bit kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, good read through. If you want to sort of fact check the Big Bang Theory
Hey,
episode.
Hey, Julie, why does it not make sense that you can mine with a laptop in 2010? That seems very reasonable to me.
It wasn't CPU mineable, I believe, by the time. Uh, well, I don't think it was CPU mineable, but a
It was
laptop wouldn't
CPU,
have
right?
had enough power. You had to, even back then, you had to get like really big CPUs in order to mine reasonably.
What do you mean? I heard people were mining with cell phones back then.
I don't think so.
That's what I heard.
If anyone has information on that, I'd love to hear it, but I doubt that that's what happened. I mean the really big miners use like desktop computers and stuff like that. But
But there
anyway,
weren't any
read
big
through the
miners in
article,
2010.
and that's right. Miners were struggling. Their CPU were okay. So my first thought, there was absolutely zero need to write a program to mine Bitcoins, at least not pre-May 2010, nor post-September 2010. But what happened between those dates? That's right, miners were struggling. Their CPU were not mining much anymore. The few closed source GPU miners were the only ones who made some coins. In fact, around this time, our forts held 25 to 50% of the hashing power with his GPU farm. The only way to get into Bitcoin mining is to write some software, basically. Therefore, we can safely conclude the story only makes sense if they started mining between May 2010 and September 2010. Did the authors deliberately time their story so well? Yeah. So I
Yeah, so
mean,
that was right. So that was right. That was what they got right.
yeah,
Looks
yeah,
like.
yeah. It does sound like that. That's interesting. Anyway, I haven't watched the show. I gotta confess, I don't really watch TV, but I do want to at least see a few clips from there and see what they got wrong. As they inevitably do on these things. But I mean, I want to give them a shout out since they did do it. Um, all right, let's take a. Well, I mean, do you want to comment any more on this story or no?
No, just well, I know they wrote it like a few weeks ago when it was 5,000.
Uh-huh.
But would it have really been that hard to change one line of an actor from 5,000 unless they filmed it back then? If they filmed it back then that's fine. But if they were airing it, or even if they were shooting it live,
Mm-hmm.
just change the line from 5,000 to 10,000.
Oh, they definitely film it. They don't shoot it live. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
before a
So if
live
they filmed
studio
it,
audience.
yeah, then if they filmed it, then that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So here's what we've been talking about. Bitcoin exchange Coinbase suffers outage during trading frenzy and record highs. Yeah, so if you've been getting this screen on Coinbase, you're not alone. Pretty much everyone that's been trying to get on Coinbase or many of these other exchanges, I think. Well, actually, I don't know about other exchanges. I just know this is true of Coinbase. Service unavailable. They've been getting that, all day, past few days. Your thoughts on, and apparently they actually updated their software last night, and they said scheduled outage or something, and they updated their software, their backend and stuff like that, and apparently they'll have more capacity. Your thoughts on Coinbase and their
Like a lot of stuff was down. Like
uh-huh,
Coinbase is always down,
uh-huh,
but like I even heard Bitfinex was having issues and
hmm
Kraken. Like everybody was down. Even TradingView was giving me problems. I couldn't even tell what price like Bitcoin had for like half a day.
and
Um, so like everything goes down, and that's what usually happens. It rarely happens in the traditional markets because they have better programmers, more professional
hmm
operations. And again, all goes into the reasons how dangerous it is to be a trader in the crypto space because it's completely unregulated. And this goes back to the Tether thing. In that, guys, you know how you always complain how traditional markets are overregulated and there's nothing you can do, and that's why you love crypto. But then you can't complain too much about how unregulated the crypto markets are with the Tether situation, because when Tether implodes and Bitfinex implodes, we're going to get these regulations. I
Yeah,
mean, they're
I
coming.
still don't like the regulations, but I can see your point. That's probably the direction we're going because people are going to complain and governments are going to try to step in, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. And once Bitcoin is being traded on traditional exchanges like Interactive Brokers, we'll see. Like all of this like crypto thing, it'll all go completely underground, right? So it'll be even less safe because there'll be safer options to trade. I'm more than willing to trade Bitcoin once the futures are out. I
Mm.
can't wait. I'm waiting for that. That would be awesome. And I have been in touch with Richard Hart, so we might do a little fireside chat sometime this week, hopefully, about those futures because I know he has a lot of concerns,
Mm.
and people have been asking for that. But yeah, but this just goes to show you how immature the space is. And there's going to be these outings. Now, the thing that bothers me is that a lot of people are now like, as if I'm going to be able to do something about it. A lot of people seem to have like their trades executed or margin liquidated at some insane prices that they don't even see being traded at.
Mm.
So there's a lot of complaints going down these days at a lot of
Yeah.
these margin exchanges.
Yeah, and their algorithms for liquidating, like we know what happened with Ethereum and Coinbase a while back. It force sold somebody's Ethereum at like 30 cents, and they had like a stop loss at $300. So I don't know. It would be nice to get like a traditional exchange like a stockbroker or something to offer Bitcoin at some point and see how that goes. All right, let's look at the next one. And this is oh, wow, how did I miss that? All right, there we go. This is
Why are you on RBTC?
well because of this. Look at the title. As Cripple Coin is passing $10,000, Satoshi Dice is about to surpass 50,000 on-chain transactions with Bitcoin Cash, and it's posted by memory dealers. So a couple of things interesting about this headline. Number one, it's by Roger Ver, and what is he calling Bitcoin? Cripple coin. What's he talking about? Satoshi Dice and how many on-chain transactions there are with Bitcoin Cash. You brought up Satoshi Dice earlier about how how they had so many on-chain transactions. Roger Ver seems to think that Satoshi Dice is a legitimate use of the blockchain and not really spam.
I
What do you
know he
think?
does.
Hmm.
I know he does. Like my story, like the first Bitcoin transaction I ever did was actually on Satoshi Dice.
Mm.
I think I've done like maybe two or three of them that I realized, why am I doing this? Um, I mean, I made money on the three bets that I did, but what I remember, I knew nothing, right? This was like I had just gotten some Bitcoin, right? And I
Mm.
wanted to like, well, how can I use it? What is
Mm.
there to do with it? And it was, this is 2013. Oh, Satoshi Dice, everyone's talking about it.
Mm.
So here's what I remember from those days. I didn't even know, I knew nothing. I
Mm.
just like bought some Bitcoin on the street, and I made my first Satoshi Dice transaction, and it tells me right there, if you did not win the bet, we
Mhm.
will send you one Satoshi.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, what idiot programmed this? Why are you going to send me one? And I knew nothing about, filling up block sizes,
Uh-huh.
how that transaction is going to screw me in the future because I then have to resend it and it's extra bytes. I knew none of that.
Mm.
I'm like, why are you going to send me something that is beyond worthless?
Mhm.
Uh, and I don't know. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
I think
Bitcoin Cash seems to be going in that direction. I'd like to see how it plays out because if Satoshi Dice becomes popular, I think this is kind of what he's hoping. Then it will fill up a large part of their block size, and then you see like this was one of the businesses built on the free fee model was
right, and
having
it's an
gambling.
awesome business, right? Because
Hmm.
it spams the Bitcoin blockchain and it takes a cut of everyone's gambling.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. What's his name? Eric Worre, he sold the business. I don't
Hmm.
know who he sold it to.
Hmm.
I don't know who runs it now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if you're getting let's say you're getting a cut of that business as an affiliate fee of whatever, yeah, you're gonna definitely push that onto your chain to spam your own chain to just make your chain unusable while profiting in the meantime.
Well, it,
So
it does seem like we know that Bitcoin Cash blocks aren't anywhere near full. It just means that, which means that there aren't that many people using it. And maybe he's
right.
sort of like bringing in businesses that he thinks will utilize it, and this is sort of his way of promoting it. Oh, All right. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a very interesting story. I
Well,
do find it interesting that even on RBTC, the very top rated comment is Roger, you can't complain and lose your temper over people calling BCH by the wrong name and then call BTC cripple coin. You're just asking for it if you continue like that.
right. And the
BTC's
thing is, like, we don't
limitations.
care.
Uh-huh.
And we don't care. I don't care that he calls it cripple coin.
Yeah, I do find it interesting though. All right, so that's it for my stories. Tone, you wanna go and talk about price?
Yeah, we'll talk about, but also like I got this email before, like people need to you can spam the Bcash blockchain. Just start doing what Factom is trying to do. Just like start encoding your videos on there. Start putting like the entire Encyclopedia Britannica into it. As a backup.
Yeah.
Like you can store anything you like there. It's free storage. Go for it. Until you
Are you encouraging people to go and spam the Bitcoin Cash blockchain? Is that what you're doing right now, Tone?
Sure. All
Uh,
right, let me the screen share here.
yeah,
Um, all right, what are we seeing? Are we seeing the weekly prices?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. I don't know how to get that thing to go away. Oh well. Anyway, so man, what a crazy week this was.
Mm,
So when we did this yesterday morning, this candle was like a little bit uglier than it is now.
mm,
It was like a true like it's still a shooting star candle, but barely.
mm,
But yesterday was a real shooting star, getting into that gravestone doji territory.
mm.
So let's see how the week ends. I mean, it's still what's today? Today's Friday. Still got a couple of days. This is it's toppy. It's toppy, and we are bouncing back to 10,000. But right now we're getting into my little no trade zone here because we can really go either way. Talked about it yesterday. Now, the candle from 2 days ago, this candle with the number 5 on it, that's ugly.
Oh.
But look, the numbers are still green.
Mm,
And because the 5 closed so low, the 9 is coming in 2 days.
mm,
Very, very likely.
mm.
And it's going to be interesting, when we hit my monthly, weekly, and daily nines
At the same
all
time.
at the same time, all this weekend. Like, I don't know. This is a blow off top.
Mm,
Like, this is how things generally. I know Bitcoin is different, and you're not supposed to short Bitcoin. But in reality, this is how things stop on daily candles like this,
mm,
with Bitcoin being profiled on one of the most popular shows on national television, Big Bang Theory, even though I've never watched a single
mhm,
episode. Um, and also, like the other day when we were in New York, it was on like the front page of AIM New York, the free newspaper they hand out when you trying to get in and out of the subway. Like, it's just, this is how things top. This is not what drives things to new all-time to like. This is not how things bottom. Let's put it this way.
mm,
This is the environment where things top. Now, the 4-hour chart. I mean, this couldn't be any more textbook.
mhm. Yeah.
this this was insane.
Not a 13, then a 9, and then a wavy sort of after pattern. Yeah.
Right, you got this reversal candle on a 9, followed by a huge drop. And here's the thing. No, we didn't get to a 9 here, but we reversed. So there was no hint at a reversal on the 4-hour.
Mm,
And this candle here, broke us out a little bit.
mm,
If we had done this show, let's say 8 hours ago, like late last night,
mm.
people like blame me for causing this thing. This is when we did the show yesterday, right? So, so basically, like if I was to draw, where can I get a parallel channel? Where is that? Probably here. Okay, here it is, parallel channel, right? So what I would have liked to draw was something like or is it like that? It's not going to be green or anything. Yeah, so something like this,
Mm,
even though it's going to be rough to draw. Here we go. Maybe like yay. Um,
mhm,
like one of these.
mhm. And the floor is
Um,
breaking out of it. Wow.
it's breaking out of it, right? So it didn't really last very long. It definitely shouldn't be green. It should be like, in reddish tints. Um, I don't know, what's this? Oh, background. Here we go. Something like that, right?
Mm.
So I would have drawn something like this, but we're already breaking out of it. So that didn't last long.
Mm.
So let's see. Well, let's see if this is sustainable. My view on it is that until I see a close on a 4-hour candle
Mm.
above the prior high closes,
Mm-hmm.
I would assume the bear is still with us.
Mm.
Okay. After that, this becomes good potential because now this is double top land
Mm-hmm.
because there's just like not enough time to get out over here.
Mm.
And then once we break out to new highs, this is where, good times ahead after that, so something like that, right? So these are my levels. So right now, I'm still a little hesitant. I'm still in that, okay, it still could be a dead cat bounce, high probability. I will say that on the hourly chart, it was kind of nice to see that the low on this whole move came on one of the nines with a green arrow, and it like bounced us, and then it reversed a little bit on this nine, and now we're going up.
Mm.
So in about 4 hours, on the current hour, so in about 5 hours, because this hour just started, we just broke 80 yen. So on the East Coast, so in about 5 hours, we'll hit another one of these nines
Mm.
on the hourly, and let's see if the 4 hour can keep us above. But it's gonna be interesting shows this weekend, like going into Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll be with you guys. We've been doing this consistently, so
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Good stuff.
Right.
All right. Well, you didn't look at monthly because the month just closed, no?
Uh, yeah. Well, right. So there's nothing going on there, right? We may have a new candle forming,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
right. So let's see. So we don't know anything yet. So the next month just started. So we have to wait for the next month to come close to an end to do any kind of evaluation. So,
I
but
see.
the month did close on a nine. I knew it was going to close on a nine. The thing is, there was no intersection, which is kind of bad. Even though the prior intersections didn't do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
because there's no I
Mm-hmm.
here or here,
Mm-hmm.
this dilutes the nine a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically means there is so much momentum
Mm-hmm.
that this nine being a reversal is actually smaller when you don't have one of these eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And what you need to get one of these eyes is like the low of candle that had an 8 on it
Mm-hmm.
has to be lower than the high of 3 candles earlier,
Mm-hmm.
or the low of the candle with a 9 on it has to be higher. Sorry, it has to be lower than the high of 3 candles earlier. Like a lot of these math rules, they're not difficult they're just conceptually hard to visualize.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And memorizing all of them is also,
A pain
life's
in the
work
neck.
apparently.
Yeah.
But just one more thing. I had to republish these scripts on TradingView because I broke some rules and I broke some of the house rules before the first time. So those that have been my consulting clients will get permissions to the new scripts.
All right. Good stuff, Tom.
Minor announcement.
All right. Anyway, I want to thank all the viewers that joined us live on me and Tone's channel. Obviously, I'm traveling back, so that will be something that we'll do this at least on my end from Austin, and Tone will be still in Colombia. But anyway, I want to thank everybody, and thanks for joining us. This song is done.